What's going on, and welcome on into the TC Trading channel. Today we are talking momentum trading and how we can actually use Bookmap to dive deeper into the behind the scenes and potentially our upper level targets of a momentum trade. And it's one of those things where you always look around and you're like, man, if I only held a little bit longer, how would I have known? Well, we can use Bookmap to get a better picture view of what's actually happening and where the orders are potentially stacking up, where potential sellers may be, so that we know, hey, there might not be a lot of resistance up through here. Then we might want to hold a little bit longer if price is continuing to trend in our direction. And so that's what I want to talk about in today's video. And it comes on the back of my own trade personally here on NVDA today. Now, I was watching Nvidia this morning and I saw this level right here. Okay, I saw this afternoon, we kind of pushed up, consolidated here, pulled below the VWAP, not a huge deal. Then we had to push up here and consolidate up into this level. And I said, okay, hey, if we break above this, which is around 40 or 453.60, we could see a big move. And well, that we did. But did I know we were going to go to 460 plus? No. However, I did have 460 in the back of my mind. Now, you might think to yourself, well, do you need to go to 460? No, you could have had a momentum trade here from 453 up to 456, 457, and you could have done great. A couple bucks to the upside if you play a couple hundred shares, or you play options, however you want to play it, right? This could have done very, very well. Heck, even 100 shares of Nvidia right there, that's like 300 bucks on that trade. It's even setting up for more, but after a period of now consolidation, and the momentum has started to kind of fade. The key period of momentum was this span of about 1 hour or so, where Nvidia from around, looks like 11:10 broke to around 12:15, where it pushed up to around, or hitting 460 and then exceeding it by just a touch. Okay, so I mentioned Bookmap, and we open this up and we're like, whoa, what do we got going on here? Well, what we have right now is a look at Nvidia over pretty much the period of time that I was centering in on. And the breakout point that we were looking at actually occurred right back in here around 11:10, 11:15. That's right here. So if I were to go back to the left, and I can zoom this out for a second so you can get a better view, Nvidia was trending up, trending up, trending up, trending up, and then we started to push to the north as we had this area on the heat map that showed we had some orders sitting there. Once we blasted through with some heavier volume here, we started to push our way north even further, seeing that even more sellers were getting taken out or met by some buyers, and price was pushing up. And these levels right here, if we were to scroll back to the left, these two large areas on the heat map, they also coincide with very close to the high of the day. So where was Nvidia pushing up earlier in the day? Those levels were those spots. So once those levels broke after the initial break right here, we're like, okay, now what? Where could Nvidia go with this momentum? As long as we still build higher lows and the trend continues to push higher, which is exactly what was happening. And those volume dots, all I really do here is they're just indicating where price was at and some volume and whatnot. I can get rid of them. I'm going to get rid of them for the sake of this video, just to kind of show you kind of what happened next, right? So what we got now is a situation where, okay, that was this area right here. Okay, that was our breakout point. That was the spot I showed you guys a second ago. Let's go back to the trading view chart. That's right here. That's this. That is the same exact spot. Now we had that small area of that yellow on the heat map, showing that we had some orders. And all that really means is, if I go back to Bookmap, all it really means is that on level 2, there's some sellers there. And so if you're familiar with your traditional level 2, this, in my opinion, is almost a better, more clear way to view level 2. And so I said, okay, now that I'm in this trade, the next key spots that I'm going to have to watch are going to be these two areas on the heat map that are up into the orange, okay? I'm like, okay, now here we go. And that makes sense because it's near high of day. Now, how does this play into my momentum strategy? Well, simply put, we had a strong stock, was one of the strongest large caps in the market today. We had a market that, or a relative strength compared to the S&P 500 on Nvidia. And also, we had pretty much held VWAP, so we're trending north. Like, we had pushed up, pulled back to VWAP, and then bounced, and are pushing higher. So do we have to go make a new high of the day? No, but chances are that this stock, if we're going to make a new high of the day, is our best bet based on the list of large caps I was looking at the time. So backing our way into this trade, now we're using Bookmap to say, okay, these areas we knew were going to be resistance. Like we had a feeling, hey, based on prior areas of resistance based on earlier today, like these areas, this area around this, what is this, 455 right here, that was close to high of the day. And then just north of that, 456 on the next whole number, that was just north of high of the day. There's going to be some sellers stacking up right there, right? That's where we're going to see liquidity. So we end up breaking through that, pulling back, and then building some higher lows here before trending up. But what do we notice on this chart? Well, we notice that there is nothing very, very small in terms of the heat map until you get up to 460. There really was nothing here. There was a lot of room. So this is where I was able to sit back in this trade and say, okay, as long as the trend continues to hold, we've got higher lows, we're breaking out. Now we broke a new high of the day. I can hold this for another $4 or $5 move up towards 460 because there really isn't a ton of resistance based on orders sitting on the level 2 or sitting to the north of us until you get to 460, which means with strong momentum and buyers that we've been seeing pretty much all day, this has a high chance or a higher chance than a stock that's weak, right? This is a higher chance to push up towards that next area of liquidity, those next orders up near that 460 and see at least some reaction there. In this case, we ended up going through that, then consolidating, pulling back, and now we're pushing higher. But now the momentum has kind of faded off. Maybe you have some more setting up to the end of the day. The day is almost over, but now that's fading off. So we saw that you would have to sit through a lot more consolidation. And when you're playing options, theta decay plays a role. Or if you're playing even just shares, do you want to sit around for, 30, 40, 50 minutes that you might not have to? Well, the cleaner trade was this move up to there. And so I thought this was actually really, really useful and really, really cool. And so I'll leave a link down below to Bookmap if you want to check them out, try them out for free. I have been liking what I've been seeing so far. I'm trying to figure out now how I can put Bookmap or take Bookmap and put it in or bake it into my breakout trading or breakdown momentum trading strategy. And this seems to be pretty helpful in terms of guiding me to where I could look for reach targets. I am going to use my same general rules of thumb as my stop loss is always going to be at this point. My take profit's going to be at this point for first take profit and etc. But in terms of scaling out, being able to read Bookmap and see where we have a lot of orders stacking up, where there aren't a lot of orders, and if price is pushing through an area where we don't have a lot on the heat map, that could be a really good sign for further follow through and continuation up until or down until that next key level on the heat map chart where there's a lot of orders and we might see a bounce, a rejection, or maybe some consolidation or some sort of reaction at that point. That's when the probabilities start to fall out of our favor. So there you guys have it. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts on this, let me know in the comment section down below. But that's essentially how I was able to play Nvidia today and actually hold this all the way until we got to 460, which is right about here. And it's actually going higher, but that's where I took my final profit on this trade. Thanks so much. Hope you guys liked the video and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.